Lesson I'm going to show you how to plot something in AutoCAD as a JPEG. So to begin with, all I have to do is go to my plot button, or I could type in plot. When my dialog box comes up, I'm going to choose a printer that basically says publish to JPEG or publish to web JPEG PC3. And it's going to ask me if I want to use the default paper size, or I could choose a custom paper size. I'm going to use a custom paper size and add it to the plotter configuration. Whenever I do this, I have all different kinds of paper sizes, and in reality what it is it's the width of the pixels times the height of the pixels. So I could pick any of one of these and it would work to a certain degree. What I want to try to do is set this up for an 11 by 17 sheet of paper. So I want the same proportions or the same ratio as 11 by 17 piece of paper. So whenever I go through this and click on properties, I can go to custom paper sizes, and I'm going to click, bring this over here. I can click on, just bring that up one more time so you can see where I got that. Whenever I click on properties, the screen pops up. And click on custom paper sizes, and I can add one. So I'm going to start from scratch. And for my width, I'm going to start out with a very high resolution. So I'm going to say 2500. And the question is, what is the height so that I have the same proportions or same ratio as an 11 by 17 piece of paper? So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to do a quick little ratio math problem to find out what that is. So my width is going to be 2500. Okay, so to start out the math problem, I'm basically going to write down the start of my problem, the start of my ratio. I have width over height. The width that I have for my paper is going to be 17 inches. The height for my paper is going to be 11 inches. I'm going to set that equal to what I'm trying to find. So right now, whenever I looked at what I had set up in AutoCAD, or started to set up in AutoCAD, I set my width to 2500. So my width is going to be 2500, and that's pixels. So my height is what I'm going to try to find. So I'm just going to use an X for that, and basically I'm just going to cross multiply to find out the answer. So I have, to set up my equation, I have 17x equals 11 times 2500. 17x equals and after I punch it in my calculator, I come up with 17x equals 27,500, and x is equal to 27,500 divided by 17. I end up with 1,617.647. I'm just going to round that up to 1618 pixels. And what that does is, if I had an 11 by 17 piece of paper that I would normally be printing this drawing out on, it's going to have a look something like that. Whenever I go to print out this JPEG, it's going to save it with the exact same ratio, so that if I ever want to print that out, and I print it on a piece of 11 by 17 paper, it's going to look exactly the same. It's not going to end up filling a space like that because it's a square ratio. So to actually do that, to put that into AutoCAD, I go back to AutoCAD and I'm going to put my 1618 for my pixels in there, and I'm going to say next, and I'm going to call this 11 by 17 JPEG. And I'm going to say finish. I'm going to say OK. And now I should be able to choose that for my paper sizes. I'm just going to scroll down through there, and right there it is, 11 by 17 JPEG. Now that I've picked that, I'm going to choose Extents to Plot. It's going to print everything within the drawing, and then I'm going to center the plot also. I'm going to make sure my plot style table arc drafting is set, and instead of fit to paper, let's try using the scale that we have. We're going to use a 1 inch equals 20 foot to match the drawing scale, and I'm going to do a preview of this, and it's showing up extremely small. So to get this to work whenever you're printing with JPEG, we're going to have to use the plot to scale or fit to paper setting. So if I click on that and I do a preview, this is what's showing up. And one difficulty with this is it pushes everything to the outside edge of the paper, so we don't have any kind of margins. So the easiest way to deal with that would be to go through, instead of printing extents, we could use a window, and we could create our margins with our window. And once we have that set, you can say plot, and the next step is to basically go through and find a place that I could save this. I'm just going to save it to my desktop for right now. And after I find it and save it, find it on my desktop and open it up, you can see basically I have a picture, a JPEG of the file. And one of the most important things is whether or not you can zoom in on it and if the numbers get fuzzy. So by having such a high resolution, you can see that the numbers don't get fuzzy on me whenever I zoom in. So that ends up working pretty well.